like it. Do I look okay? Tell us when. Is it playing already? Is it playing already? Oh.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. How's everyone doing this morning? It's good to see everyone's smiling faces this morning. Good morning. I'm Frida White. I'm the program manager for the Developmental Disability Program, as well as the Arizona Long-Term Care Program under the division. So let me be the first to welcome all of you to our event this morning. We have a lot of exciting news to share with all of you, and all of you joining us on the live stream. Hello, Yate, wherever you're joining us from. Director Cody and I welcome you to our event. So let's go ahead and kick off our event. I want to welcome to the stage Mr. Joseph Sandoval from Navajo Treatment Centers for Children and Their Family Services to open up our event in a good way. So, Mr. Sandoval.
Yat Kwa hilwani tlonigi shik ado shiden do ado kwad ya beni khai anigi do ishi kwad ya be khatolj ado kongshet Joseph Sandoval wat asje ado na da de net hurichin in sloke ya ani bashin ado tsna jini dashichedo kitlichin edashnal. I work for the program known as Navajo Treatment Center for Children and Their Families as a community involvement specialist. Aro Kwabanyaho Agi Yij a Navajo Nation Division of Social Service. Bij Adon Le Had Ishin Hot Ad a Behot Oszido, but Edge Ade Hot Ahahol do. Kat konza hot ashit ya yizhen lenigi at outdoor nil sahot outdoor nil do wudji do lil hat no shinde hot ba so des case ado ba yat hito banahast jo hot ya kwad bin khai an le ho akod ahat ishi ahat da hot en lil ho den nek ho khanne slanigi da Adol ya ben khadit endigit jo ya en sakis jo ilsahat ne ho aronda nahat aronda inna ado sihutensen ado tsodzen sendo jo adil case landigit ashi kwan nikhna naslanigi ho khoje be yini jneshi khoje shi yan ndol yel Ado kodo islahot ihnahotoljish. Nejonigi yat ehigi eshibaka hojoba huinzen. Jot ashit ya la na huinzen. Ado ahashin so ahashin so be betotjenegi social service ahashin so ayo ye ba at holnodo at the shak en halo. Ado beninat ya hik hidden en linigi. Hashin sod ya double ni da jo hat da hot ada etahunil zi koko tanda hashit double to double no da ya tsud kosa ya hat jo kot ashi hot ashi be belsalado kat konzat hot yehigi en juno bohon ne nado lil juno bohon ne tlon channako Yat ekon ne zongo ya denne ni hik hidden lenigi at teach do chito teach say hindo tal ado kwe no sel lenigi and da ya awayas hol ado chin adon da ya chiniyas adon da tsil cage den nesan has tuisani je ishe baba ka hat en leho ya ban tahkis johot ashit ya adole gashin zan nahuil jisho ya annide endalne lahot ada andalje johot ya adole nazland leho enda achot zingi da hot jno selto jo tigi kho jo chniya da hot ela le no selto chniya le na kitsat ha shib nakha jo adon da ya kenal taul yengi da baby khalj jun le da bizet da ba ado ajet yan sehota jo de hat ad bizet ba koje ye naskon lego hashin zago ye den nen ledo san ye has tuido lil sando lil ye san ya do gal jot ashin ya ben ye de hot nazland de hashin tsahki so shin den nek ba yat go ban tsahki so hot on shin de han den denigi ya ba hweshne do lil aro yat to he kwen hil kon lonigi kod ashide kodo sun lenigi khwala today deal in bed or lil ya bed ya ni hit so dezen et kojo ben nasko nando lil hot ela hosk den ho hey yang zay lan dong ye man tzi kesle zay lan dong ye man tzi kesle zay lan dong ye man tzi kesle lan dong ye man tzi kesle zay lan dong ye man tzi kesle zay lan dong ye man tzi ke hola ne yang halas is na jeyende man tzi kesle ayol geyende man tzi kesle zi han do ye man tzi kesle da sa ang go man tzi kesle da bi ge ho jong go man tzi kesle zi han ho ye man tzi kesle zi han ho ye man tzi kesle zi han ho ye man tzi ke ho la ne yang hala to zi ye le man tzi kesle adot zi ye le man tzi kesle zi han do ye man tzi kesle da sa ang man tzi kesle abi ge ho jo go man tzi kesle zi han ho ye man tzi kesle zi han do ye man tzi kesle zi han ho ye man tzi kes ko la ne yang ha do go sli ye de man tzi kesle adi chli zi ye le man tzi kesle zi han do ye man tzi kesle da sa ang go man tzi kesle da bi ge ho jo go man tzi kesle zi han ho ye man tzi kesle zi han do ye man tzi kesle zi han ho ye man tzi ke ho la ne yang ha de ben sang man tzi kesle aba shini zi ye le man tzi kesle zi lan do ye man tzi kesle da sa ang go man tzi kesle da bi ge ho jo go man tzi kesle zi lan ho ye man tzi kesle zi han ho ye man tzi kesle zi han ho ye man tzi ke ho la ne yang ha la zi na o de ye le man tzi kesle alla yo te zeyele, wana te kesle, zilane hawawiya, wana te kesle, asa go, wana te kesle, tabi ge hojo, wana te kesle, zilane hawawiya, wana te kesle, zilane hawawiya, wana te kesle, zilane hawawiya, wana te ke holawe, ne yang halati, jol in wana te kesle, wana te yele, wana te kesle, zilane hawawiya, wana te kesle, dasa go, wana te kesle, tabi ge hojo go, wana te kesle, zilane hawawiya, 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 wana te kesle, olangane. Eshi da hot ashi as case lanigi ashi be hojo ben hilda no so do lisko eya kon sesnagen so tselt go sli de ben tsat na de lit so en da eya kon yoski zil do de zil di chile zil bashin zil yor zil zil zelt as ana rebige hojo zil in tsa kesen da eya kojet eya so de sen zil wat ayet kon hojo ni het so de da elini ni yin da elini ko ye de ya ko he beche chana is in da ko betana ni ko ye da do ta ya hu na ha chen he we ni ya ni zu ni lo ye di ne ko de ye ko ni ke na hu la do le ni ke na hu in ti do le en da ko na ha na jo pa do le ko den den ke de ni la shlai en da ya ko no kha den ne no kha di gen den da jo da de ko en he ho no sen le ho ye ko ye kwa ke ya sa ba khai tse ba na ga ho za o ye ni gi ko ben nas ko ben ni gi ko kwa de ko ken nas ne do en da ko kwa de ya ha shin so de na nas la do en da ko je de ya kwa de ya ho na nas be be kha hodet en de ho ko ne ha de shi hot a khata hot ya do ben da hot ist do ye ba ya dis chi de hot a kon hik een kitten en de nigi ye ne khos no bebel nedlish en da hot ayet ja be khadet enigi aron da ko ja not ani atsalati das tanigi ho en da ko je ni Washington lade and da ko president and the vice president and da ko executive and ko director aron da ko program managers aron da ko programs de ko ebenan da yosenigi not ani shin ko ba holonigi and da ko den denigi the sun and denigi ko banan da yosen be da hotel zinigi en da got nanish salado ye gatligi jo hashin sod ya ho baban sa kis jo da ba jo ba hunzen kwaye harot ye ko jo ya ho ko ya ko sen chusil digi be nasko ne nando li ko ne be ya ni na ta en dan hin sa kis da ko ni he na ni he so den ni he so de ni yin be nasko nando li ko ne be nasko na nil tato li be ya ko na ni be na nil do ko be ni he ken de ne be ka na nil wo do li jo da ye ya ko ho jo ba ini zno di che ho he na hon za de ho da ko ya ko na nishnas lado en da ko ni na shi nil zindagi ko ne ot harot ko ben khana ho ya do li en da ko ha so ko ne ya ko na nishin zindagi ko he ya ho be je ya na ne ben sakis ba an begal betis ya na ne ho ye chana na lo ye khana ol ni do ye na bezilo nash na do li ot ho so to dilzi jo do li so de sne ko so de dini be ho khitsi ko be ha ate ni na jo do shada he na kos ni ya ni da ho di nas anel chdi ni ti de da no so de ho de di be na jo do o jo na hasli Ojo Nahasli, Ojo Nahasli.
Yeah, and Sago, Joseph, for your prayers, your words of wisdom. We can always rely on you to uplift us in that way. So I wanted to do a few acknowledgments this morning. We have a former division staff person that has moved on to be a field representative for Teresa Ledger Fernandez. Mr. Cal Curley, would you please stand for us and be acknowledged? Thank you, Mr. Curley, for being with us this morning. Also, I wanted to pay a little bit of respect to a former staff member as well for the division that helped launch a lot of the initiatives that we are undergoing right now, including the name change, including the plan of operation. Without her guidance and leadership with the division and the time that she was with us, we wouldn't have been at this point in the division's progression. So Miss Marlinda Littleman, if you could stand for us. Miss Littleman is our former Deputy Division Director, and thank you, Miss Littleman, for all of your hard work and guidance throughout the time with us. So moving on to the managers of the Division of Social Services, I wanted to welcome up to the stage Mr. Eric Gale, Department Manager 3 of the Department of Family Services.
Good morning, Yate bene haro naute alpi in Mescalero Apache, Chiricahua Apache. But good morning, staff, division staff, everyone here in person, everyone here in Cyberland. We also have a department DFS staff in Paris chiming in. She's attending the Summer Olympics, and I guess the opening ceremony is going on, but she's listening in all the way from Paris. So good morning. Good morning. We also have our Crown Point DFS office holding the fort down for the Eastern Navajo Fair. Apparently they have a booth set up and a tent there at the fair office, and they are showing this particular broadcasting. So good morning to everyone over there, Crown Point DFS, Crown Point Eastern Navajo Fair. Good morning from the Department of Family Services. My name is Eric Gale. I am the Department Manager 3, Department of Family Services. IECA Nishkala Nishle, Aruka, Nan the Nabashichin, Chisha Dashiche, Arotoshin Dashinella, from the great Mescalero Apache Nation, and also member Navajo Nation, officially enrolled in Navajo, in case you're wondering. From not too far from here in Sawmill, Arizona, grew up here. Spent a good part of my life down in the Valley of the Sun. When I came back up in 2011, I was a CPS worker at the Fort Defiance office, and I got to do CPS for several years. But one thing about the CPS job, when I would go to a store locally or even within the laundromat, I would walk in and then I would hear people say, that social services is it? I'm dead serious. CPS workers, you probably hear that too. So the concept social services, it almost has like a good and a bad connotation to it. So in that regard, I'm looking forward to this name change. So hopefully our CPS workers can have something good, something positive to hang their hats on when they go out to the public. So just along those regards. But along the years, along the way, over the years, I got to know various different individuals that work for DFS, and there was one individual, Mr. Wolford Yazzie. I got to know him very well, worked with him closely, and got to do a lot of travel with him. But some of the stories that he shared with me, and it's one thing that I want to share with you all. So he prides himself as being the first Navajo social worker, second Navajo MSW social worker. And he used to say he's been with the Division of Social Services since the early 1960s. At that time, he says the Division of Social Services was under BIA. BIA managed social services. So it's kind of ironic when you look at the history of social services, and it goes back that far. And at that time, he used to share stories with me that he would go out and help families that would come over to Window Rock at Fort Defiance, and they would basically drop off individuals that needed help, and then they would find ways to transport them. And he says at one time they even did live, or not, I wouldn't say live, they even did cadavers. They would drop off cadavers in the early 60s, and then they would bury them. So he's got some interesting stories like that. And at one time, he said in the 70s, I guess there was a drought, and how he shares how they helped. But basically, the concept of the Division of Social Services derived from the BIA funding source. Within the BIA, they have 638 grants, and they operate under different CFRs and different federal provisions. So there is a provision within BIA that allows for social services and financial assistance to Indians. There's a code associated with that, but that's the actual name, social services and financial assistance to Indians. So the name Division of Social Services comes from that particular federal code that allows BIA to provide these services to a Navajo Nation. So when Navajo Nation took over from BIA, they adopted that social service concept, and that's what you see today, Navajo Nation Division of Social Services. So as we move forward with a new change, there's an opportunity there for growth, just like with anything, opportunity there for something new to go into the Navajo Nation government and to basically change the way that we operate and change the way that the public perceives the division. So I'm very proud of the new name that we're going forward with, and I think Mr. Cody can agree with me. When you go through these social service agencies throughout the country, states, the names that they have for themselves is all derived on children and families. And nowhere do you see social services. It's always children and families. So I believe that we're getting forward with times in that regard, and I support this particular initiative. And hopefully, like I said, our CPS workers can have a better connotation when they go out to the public. So with that said, I'm looking forward to the department's name change as well. So with that, welcome, and I just wanted to share some of those stories with you, and hopefully you have a real quick history lesson of where the Division of Social Services name comes from. So thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gale. He's full of wisdom and always comes to the team with a positive attitude and a different outlook and input than most of us managers. So we appreciate Mr. Gale for that and returning back to the Navajo Nation and providing your services to us. So next up is Miss Antoinette Miller, and I see that you brought your second in charge, Mr. Saunders. So we could welcome both of you up to the stage. Miss Miller and Mr. Saunders are from the Department for Self-Reliance.
With you. Huh? No. Can I just put this here. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here this morning for this event that we're having. And my name is Antoinette Miller Shea Twatsoni. Nshlondo Kilachini Ebashashin Nanesh Ejetrachini Etashachedo Hanarani Tashanala. And I am the department manager for Department for Self-Reliance. And I just wanted to thank everyone here. It appears that there's quite a few DSS staff here. And thank you for your hard work, as well as those that are not here to participate. But as you know, social services, we have a tough job. And it's a tireless job. And we don't always get the thank yous that we need or want or need to see. But nevertheless, your work is appreciated as staff. And this change that we're going through is something that I think has been talked about but never has happened. But the emphasis is really on children and families, and that's where we're moving with this program or this division. We want to have change, we want to see change in how we deliver services to our customers and to our clients. So we're all a part of this change, and I'm glad it's happening, and I'm glad to see that we are now moving forward. So embrace it and help us move forward with this change here. I'm going to give some time over to Michael. He oversees our direct services, and he can talk a little bit about direct services.
Oh, yeah, Arnoldsko. She Michael Saunders in Shekia an in Shlon Tobajin Ajbashin. Ashin da Shedo a Tobajin Aj the Chanel Hot Eye the Nest Kinchle. And later, Tloyaj the Hatlni the Ad Shkont del Clito El Hidil Kit the Ad A Shits Asela. Shema anti Hulonko a Hot Abba Henson. So, good morning again, everybody, and I welcome you to the unveiling of the new division name. And I'm excited to be here. I'm unprepared. I didn't know I was going to speak. So, I manage 7 field offices, Department for Self-Reliance, and we first of all we're adjusting to the upcoming change, especially with the 477 and all the exciting new programs that we're going to be offering to TANF customers. So one of the things that TANF has always represented, and some of you who are aware of TANF, is that we're very structured as far as onboarding and training and getting our staff ready to handle case management. For example, I worked under family services prior to coming to DSR. I came my first day, Monday, went through orientation. Adult Tuesday came. I was given a stack of cases. You have a court in 2 weeks, Shadoni. So how prepared is that versus what we do at DSR? We get a training 6 months before you even begin to handle cases. So it's different. So we're coming from a very structured department, and we're going to adjust to the new name change, and then also going under 477. So echo. Other than that, our program is receiving applications, and we've been out in the field. We've been promoting services as much as we can, and we need to increase our numbers, especially for our children and our families. So 8 Albansa case. Also having our focus centered on children and families. Internally, we're beginning to incorporate language for our Navajo children. We're also going to incorporate programs such as culture and tradition. And first and foremost, prevention. We're going to identify the issues that are plaguing our Navajo people and children. So we're going to adjust. This name change is overdue because it seems like social services has an image, and we're going to put that behind, and we're going to move forward with children and family services. So other than that, I welcome you all this morning, and hopefully we can meet afterwards and discuss some other issues. Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller and Mr. Saunders. So we have the Navajo Indian Child Welfare Act under the Division of Social Services. And Ms. Carcentia is the program manager for that particular program. And unfortunately, she's not with us today. But we do have Lashana Hosky, the principal social worker. I believe this is your second week, right? She's officially starting next week, but we're throwing her right in, just like Mr. Saunders indicated earlier. If you could come up here, Ms. Hosky.
Yate bene everyone. Lashana Hosky, in Shat Tachini Shaw Kilachini Bashishtin, Glashe, Dashache, Shkanadoe, Dashanale. As Frida had mentioned, I am going to be starting this new position as a principal social worker. So I'm kind of nervous, but we're going to get through this. But I'm here on behalf of the Navajo Indian Child Welfare Act program. And I've been with the program for a little over 2 years. And, with this rebranding process, we have been involved in the process, and we do appreciate Mr. Cody and the division really incorporating the voices we have within our program. And so we were able to have some of our families, participate in the focus group that happened with this potential division name change. And so, we really do appreciate Mr. Cody and the division being inclusive to the programs, and that, shows us that he and the division wants us to work in a collaborative manner to ensure that we are serving our families better. And, this division change really encompasses that and focusing on family and children. And so, this division change really aligns with the vision that we also have at our program, and we really strive on family and cultural preservation. And again, I really think this rebrand is really going to focus on that and give an opportunity for the growth for the families that we serve and being able to see us in a different light. So we do appreciate it and are excited for this change and being able to continue better serving the families that we work with. And really quickly, I should have mentioned this in the beginning, but the programs that we do serve are children and families who are involved in dependency cases that happen off of the reservation. So there could be a Navajo family identified, let's say in Florida or New York. When those children are identified in a dependency removal, we are then notified and then provide the next steps to be engaged in those cases to ensure that our children stay, with their families, with the Navajo family, to again ensure that that cultural preservation and family preservation happens. And lastly, again, we appreciate the inclusiveness, and we are excited about this change and the growth that is going to happen.
So we had I had a discussion with Carcentia earlier this week, And one of the questions I asked her was, how many states do we have Navajo children in that you're involved in providing support for? And I believe the number that she gave me was 26 states. So this particular unit serves all across the United States in 26 states to help protect the cultural values and Navajo children all across the United States. So they have a huge job. Another round for ICWA. So I wanted to welcome Mr. Anthony Begay up to the stage. He's the program manager for Navajo Treatment Centers for Children and their families. And Anthony and I have a special bond. We can't sit together. We cannot sit together. Mr. Cody has gotten after us a few times because we get distracted. Right, Anthony?
Yat do yeah ado do nenschlinige ketlchini in schlit tkatnes zahne was chin na nest tkachini das che bet ani das nelle ado shdet Anthony Marcus Begay hadash nele tselchi bekad has kan ari belkischen schnani do khalchin ari dan higan the bestly ado Kagi Nikea Wakai da Wada William John Yat do Head Hana Yanigi Shik Ash den Aro Trahasil Aro Patience case be do Nikis not Sagi lo Yat Nikidini Roles Ado Navajo Treatment Center for Children and their Families Jaja Banashnish the Quishi Nilte and Ani kuhiye do oni kiuda disla kudo da sige 200 daze hone laze bam bada anishla nhe ana tindo a kwaginal kido teya hot endi yon khazot lidon hiket in konadi nilo hota hanadi tse hodet noda hota sodizendo sinda dan lini da hota Kanelgo, the Kado, Navajo Treatment Center for Children and their Families, Biado, Dan Nishigi Hall, Betandash Nishigi, Ekaha, Bedini Doles, East Ozendeski, the Arisa, that is Aro, Saekon Hastra, Yon Dal Nishdo, Eskedanit Lido, Elsado, and Dakini Tindo, Dakis Nils, Hadayat, although the Nils and do Picanita Nilo, Nikedala, Joe Nalsos, could counseling with Yegi, Argent Kinanish Nilsen, Joe license Nikedala, da Elchin Pichayat or Tito, Kodo, Maje, Hada, Bissendahado Negi. Do yo yel tikda o isinil do ekit tikhi do elkhannegi de yisi do da nahagada shado yel danzo da jo ka bkadi lwes khadan soda hat khali dan lini bit shoinil ho eshin da usta lo ho lo ikha bdi ni dolel hot nam nail nish ara kuj Western treatment modalities, sand trade, art therapy, narrative therapy, reality, ninja reality therapy. Ankin Kel, Ili Asa, beat Nazlaho, Hat Ahto, Hayos Khaten da Hail Jisho Hata Joe Hata Babison Days Elchin Ho Aro Equa Bahaotzi Eso Bessendalish in Lane Nana Satitla Begun the Hata it's Aro, but Aron the Hastla Aro Ari the Dabagantla Ari Chidab the Tahajo Equa Bacadil with so. ho it Niki Jane escredo and Tikesi escredo hit ada Halchin the Lahada Yikades ido lehtano enjoy quagi bekan de lo o you gon kinan she needs and she need ni qui endi Hudan hitch hasido leharo to ke kwa Huda yiz be ben kit jinde kade lahota ali chun ke Navajo Treatment Center for Children and their Families. Hadan hiji is so in hinda hiji and Johnny in hitsaro hadam chide dil is hidani so oh vega John hada vega so hadan sisi case so ba yada sil ke hada John eko he kodon hina tane dan linido ka frida so in ke yo hon edete so Juno ho, without Hasido, he had Dini less.
Thank you, Mr. Begay. And again, the Navajo Treatment Centers for Children and their families serve a vital role in the healing and the recovery of children and families that have encountered trauma, abuse, neglect, any type of challenges in their life. This particular program meets them where they're at, goes to where they live and provides the services directly to them. And that's something to be very proud of. So thank you, Anthony, for you and your group and everything that you do. So Ms. Deanna Neswood-Gishi is the Department Manager 3 for Navajo Child Development. And she's still on her way. They had a strategic planning to reorganize and restructure similarly to what the division is doing right now, but within that particular department. So we'll go ahead and skip over Ms. Deanna Neswood-Gishi. And it looks like I'm next on the agenda, so welcome again, everyone. Yat-e. She Frida White in a she Tohe Glini Nashle, Lezathlana Bushish Chin, Lasha da She do a she and Tashanale, Dicey Nashagi aids if the hunt the Balajorahi Ade Jishike. So I'm originally from a place called Endless Mountain. It's north of many farms. It's where my grandmother's from. It's where the Tohe Glini clan originates from. So I'm the program manager for the Developmental Disability Program, as well as the Arizona Long-Term Care Program. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank all of the personnel, all of the staff within DDD and Altex. Without them and without their continued dedication and wavering services to our members and our Navajo citizens, a lot of the services that we assess for, that we go out to the homes and provide these assessments would never get to the most of remote areas. Yesterday we met with the tribal Altex supervisors all across the state of Arizona from all of the tribes. And one of the examples yesterday is that one of the homes out in Navajo Mountain, there's only a small trail to get to that particular home. So we deliver services out to where the Hogan smoke comes out of. We really, really do everything that we can to deliver services in the home as much as possible. Both programs are under contract with the state of Arizona to deliver case management services. So what that means is the case managers have the duty and the responsibility to do an accurate assessment, to evaluate for services, to deliver much needed medical equipment, to facilitate all of negotiating what that looks like between the case managers, between the hospitals, between access. So they have a complex job, and I want to thank all of the staff that are watching today. I see that there's 46 of you online right now, so thank you for chiming in and being a part of what we're doing today. These two particular programs, the Developmental Disability Program, as well as the Arizona Long-Term Care Program, serve the most vulnerable population. We serve those that were born with disabilities, those that may have feeding tubes, breathing tubes, that they're not able to care for themselves on their own and through the rest of their life. So that's the DD population. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the Arizona Long-Term Care Program. The majority of the folks that we serve under that population are the elders, those that are 60 and over. And I have the great honor to be the leader of that program. Because when we talk about vulnerable populations, this particular program serves those individuals. The Altex program serves 1,370 members. We have 51 case managers to serve all of those members. And we don't just only serve Navajo, we go off of Navajo. We have an office in Mesa that serves the metropolitan area, that goes out to Parker, that goes to Tucson, that serves off Navajo for the Altex program. The DDD program, we have 141 members. We may not have a lot of members, but again, like I mentioned before, their needs are high. They have a lot of needs that we have to coordinate. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to my staff. I stand here before you because of you and because of our members and in service to the Navajo people. So thank you. So if I could ask Miss Brenda Sosi to make her way up to the stage. She serves many, many hats. This lady is a jack of all trades, I swear. She does our accounting. She gets payments out. She runs the financial assistance unit. She's Director Cody's right-hand person sometimes. So, Miss Brenda Sosi.
Thank you, Frida. I didn't expect that. Biat she Brenda Sosi hinchia ado kia anin shla she bashchin ado honagani dashe do topa e dashanale. I'm the principal accountant with Division of Social Services. Our new name change pretty soon. I need to get used to it. Ado, I oversee a lot of accounts as well. I help monitor those accounts, and of course, there's compliance, and that comes with it. Ado, financial assistance. And the financial assistance, we have general assistance, burial assistance. It's under the 638 program, where we provide assistance to families that are in need. Burial assistance agi aja akut alto late in the batahastin digi aja bekaneja. Although general assistance some are really needy families, temporarily assistance. That's what we do as well. Also, there is LIHEAP. We usually provide assistance for that. That program, we went a different route this year, where we're able to work with the 110 chapters to provide assistance to 24 individuals. That's really just based off of our funding. So when more funding comes in, we'll provide more applications to those chapters. Though we have the CSBG program, a community service block grant. Sometimes when a family needs assistance, like to go to a medical appointment, or sometimes like the IC, they need basic needs. So we usually provide that. Although we have school clothing program as well, where we provide clothing to students from ages 3 to 18. So we provide assistance, and that's what we do as well. So our program is really, we have individuals that are out, and the caseworkers that we have that are out in the field as well. We have Chinle, Tuba City, Crown Point, which is stationed in Gallup, and Shiprock, and Chinle, Kayenta. We serve all those areas as well. Then we have one in not Kayenta, but Dilcon as well. So that's those areas. We have caseworkers that are stationed out there. Then also, with this name change, I'm excited about it. I know that this has been a plan that's been forthcoming, and it's true that we're looking forward to new plans. And we don't here with the assistance program. We already are working with the chapters. That's one of the focus that we are working with, really with people that are out in the communities. That's who we work with. So that's what financial assistance is about. And I mean, if you have any families that are out there, also contact the local offices, because there are 5 or 6 other offices that are out there as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. And again, thank you for everything you do for the division. So, what's going to change? It's probably what a lot of you online are wondering, or a lot of you under the tent today. What's going to change quickly? So, I know our emails are going to change. I did talk to Director Cody earlier, and he wants all of our emails to be changed as of Monday. So that's going to be changed. Soon we're going to unveil a logo that's going to go along with your emails. That's going to be changing as well. So we're excited for this new upcoming change. I know for a lot of us, change can be scary. Change can be nerve-wracking. What's going to happen? What are we going to do? But I assure you, through the leadership of your managers and the field supervisors, making this change as a transition, and not being afraid of it. So we have a special guest here, and I wanted to welcome her to the stage, Ms. Solanza. If you could join us and tell us a little bit about DAP. And if we speak in acronyms within the division, and DAP stands for the Dene Action Plan. And Ms. Solanza is co-chair of the DAP committee. So let me turn it over to Ms. Solanza.
Oh, yate bine. Thank you for asking me to share some information on the Dene Action Plan. Let me go ahead and introduce myself first appropriately to my relatives out there. In Schlinigi eyad sanabelni in Schle. Andene bashishchin, andene dashanaledo, ashihe dashache. Arot ayisi tutlagaina nasha. I'm originally from the community of Twin Lakes, New Mexico, also known as Bastla. That's where my family's from. That's where I live and where I've been all my life, just over the hill here. I am right now the legislative staff assistant to the Office of the Speaker. I am here representing Honorable Speaker Crystal and Curley and our 25th Navajo Nation Council. I think you might have some delegates drop by in and out today. As you know, we're going through our budget hearings, our budget meetings, so a lot of our council delegates are tasked. For the role that I have with the Dene Action Plan Advisory Group, I am currently the co-chair, and our chair is Mr. Michael Henderson, who is the Director of Criminal Investigations. And I joined DAP when I stepped into my role at the Speaker's office over a year ago or so. And I was assigned to work with Mr. Cody and the Division of Social Services, which is going to have a great new name, so we could get it off the ground again and start moving forward with some of the initiatives under the Dene Action Plan, which you heard about earlier. The Dine Action Plan has been around for almost 5 years now and a little over with some of the pre-planning. And it's a master plan that was put together by our 3 branches of government through the executive branch and the support of previous presidential administrations and also the current presidential administration. And then also with the support of previous Chief Justices through the judicial branch and the current Chief Justice. And then also previous speakers of the Navajo Nation Council, which now includes the current speaker of the Navajo Nation Council. So through the leadership and support of Dr. Boo Nygren as our president, Speaker Crystalline Curley, and Chief Justice Joanne Jane, we are able to move the Dine Action Plan forward and bring our advisory council together. So our advisory council or advisory group consists of 19 members. There are 19 of us that are on the advisory group representing different offices and divisions and leadership among the Navajo Nation tribal government. With that, we have 2 chairs that get selected every 2 years, and myself and Mr. Henderson have been in that role since we started. With this advisory group, our main tasks are to address 4 modern-day monsters, as we call them. Naye, or 4 modern-day monsters. One is alcohol and substance abuse, which we call one of the modern-day monsters. The other is suicide. The third is violence in our families, violence in our communities, violence in relationships. The fourth is missing and murdered Dine relatives, our relatives who go missing, who are murdered, or who are involved in human trafficking across the Navajo Nation, on and off the Navajo Nation. So the Dine Action Plan and the team that works on these issues have a heavy load. We are addressing some very serious and heavy issues, finding ways to come together to find solutions and to work collectively among all 3 branches so that we can help find support for families and victims, but also to help our programs and divisions have that structure in place so that we can make sure we can be sustainable and help protect families, children, our missing loved ones, and to really have that collective effort for all of those areas. And so that's why the Dine Action Plan was developed, and that's where we're moving forward. It has a cultural foundation. We have our traditional practitioners that have helped us with some of the traditional knowledge and helping us understand that foundation, and then also working with our partners, our faith-based entities, and all of the programs, as well as our tribal leadership to help get answers for these areas. So that's what the Dine Action Plan is. I've been very honored to work with Mr. Cody and the team to get this moving, and just recently we had a data summit. Gosh, that was this week. It was 2 days ago. Felt like a month, but the Dine Action Plan had a data summit because we know there's data all over the Navajo Nation and with all of our federal, state, county, and local partners, including the chapters. And we need to bring all that data together collectively so we really know the statistics for our Navajo people in those areas of alcohol abuse, substance abuse, violence in our families, violence in our communities, suicide, and our missing and murdered Dine relatives. We need that data consolidated so that we can best address solutions for those problems. So that's one big task that we accomplished recently, and I'm very excited about what we're going to be doing moving forward with all those initiatives. So with that, thank you again to this division. I just have to give kudos to Mr. Cody and Marlinda, because they help get the Dinette action plan off the ground and moving again. And that really makes a difference. It does. And thank you for your support and your resources, and the departments that donate and support us to meet and gather. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Solansa. So, a nice segue. She mentioned Miss Littleman. We introduced her earlier, and I wanted to welcome Miss Marlinda Littleman up to the stage to share some words with us. Come on up.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's beautiful. You know, I guess first of all, I just want to say to Mr. Cody, I'm still here. I'm still going to help you. I'm not going anywhere. I don't know if the social services staff remember that we had, I think, kind of our first talk about this change in Mesa, at one of the Mesa office, and we were talking about colors, and I mentioned, we're talking about the logo, and I mentioned the color purple, and everybody just kind of looked at me like, what, purple, So I'm looking forward to what your colors are going to be in terms of your new logo and the colors. But Shea Marlinda Littleman and Shea Ado, my deshkijni nashlido, Tlizasana Bashichin, Tedeshkijni Dashiche, Ado Nakaidene Dashanella. Yes, former Deputy Division Director, but now my new title is Health Services Administrator with the Division of Aging and Long-Term Care Support, and under Navajo Department of Health. So I have my colleague here, Sherilyn Yazi, who's I'm part of her team at this point in time, and I'm happy to join the NDOH. First of all, I just want to say thank you. I don't know where all the support staff are. I know this, even just putting these together here is a lot of work. And so thank you for continuing to support Mr. Cody in making this event happen today. And I know that it's not always easy to put an event like this together. Even the IT staff, I see them over there, and whoever put up this tent, thank you. It is a lot of work. And then it's great for, like myself and Cal. Where's Cal? I don't see Cal. Oh, there you are, Cal. Good to see, even myself and Cal, just to be here to help you celebrate this day and to continue to support you, even from a different position. And also, as even though we're with a different division, we're still here to partner with all of you. We're going to continue the partnership. I know that we'll continue. I was just sitting with one of my colleagues, and I was telling her that, I want us to work with the Navajo Treatment Center for Children and Families, with Anthony, and of course also with Frida, with the Arizona Long-Term Care. So we still need to collaborate at the division level and at the department level. But this day cannot happen with a strong leadership. And I think that's what Mr. Cody represents here, and all the program managers. So yes, give yourself a round of applause. I mean, there has to be a no-nonsense leader to and to have a plan trickle down to the department level, to the employees and to the clients, and that is going to be a reflection back at the state level, at the federal level. And so today this is a huge thing for Division of Social Services, soon to change. So I just want to congratulate all of you for the job well done. And thank you for allowing me to be part of it, even if it was for a short term. And thank you for inviting me to this event as well. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Frida. And again, congratulations. And it's a new start. The change has begun, and embrace it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Littleman. Thank you for your leadership and your time with the division. And DOH, you snatched a good one. So congratulations to Department of Health too as well. Merlinda comes with a lot of positive leadership, and you guys are, really good to have her. So, Ms. Littleman touched on the support staff. So I just wanted to take a brief moment to talk about a little and introduce some of the staff here that serve at the Office of the Executive Director. To my left over here, we have Mr. Brent Nelson. Mr. Brent Nelson, if you could stand. He's our IT administrator. He's on his third week. So we're filling vacancies. That's one of our huge initiatives within the division, is to fill the vacancies. We cannot do the work out there if we have nobody doing the work, right? We've also added Dr. Laura Mike as well. Miss Mike, if you could stand for us. She does a lot of our writing, reviewing our policy, research, putting position statement papers together, things like that. So welcome back, Dr. Mike. Thank you for joining the division. We also have another jack of all trades. You may see her running around, picking up table covers, doing POs. Miss Rachel Toledo, if you could stand. She takes care of all of us. Thank you, Rachel. We also have Miss Dinah Lewis. If you could stand, Miss Lewis. Miss Lewis is our expert in HR, provides technical support to all of the divisions, programs, and departments. We also have Miss Delilah Goodluck. If you could please stand for us. Miss Delilah has helped tremendously in guiding the division when it comes to what rebranding means, what a logo means, what we're doing here. And she's really been the guiding light, I would say, in bringing us back together, because when you get a bunch of managers in a room, what happens? Everyone has a different idea, right? She's been really instrumental in helping us and guiding us, so thank you, Ms. Goodluck. And I don't believe this last person I'm going to mention is here, but Michelle Marie Jones, she is our ASO, does a lot of pushing our stuff to forward, POs, paying for things. She probably even did the contract to set up the tent for us today. So for all of our division staff, our support staff, everyone who pitches in to get things like this put together, thank you. A huge, huge thank you to all of you that help. And then we have Dimitri. He's helping us out too as well. Wave, Dimitri. He's been really helpful too as well. So I introduced Mr. Cal Curley earlier. If Mr. Curley could make your way up here. Within the division, when he was with us, he served as our kind of our legislative liaison. He interacted a lot with the president's office as well as the council delegates, arranging meetings, and being that really forefront of being a liaison. So if we could have Mr. Curley come on up. I guess we're changing the battery. Hold, please. And forgot to mention another person at the office, executive director, Mr. Sid over here. If you could wave. He also does IT and helps supports the division as well in our initiatives. So let me turn over the mic over to Mr. Curley. You have a fresh battery. That doesn't mean you're going to be here till 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Thank you, Shada, Frida. Good morning, everyone. It's really nice to be back here, although I'm always around. I'm not far, but like Merlinda said, we're not going anywhere, Thomas. So we're going to make sure you're going to be a hard worker for your staff. Again, my name is Cal Curley. I'm originally from Oak Springs. It's ancient. Hold it, yeah. I had to learn that word. Down the road, Dona Slinigi, I'm Todikonja. Tabahe Buses Chin, Hanalatni are my Chays, and Senjikin are my Nullies. First of all, I want to thank all of you that were involved in putting this together. My Chay, Mr. Cody, my sister Frida. I know there was a lot of people that had, put their hands, their sweat. My sister Renee was sweating this morning. I had to calm her down. And everyone, Rachel, your new guy, Brent, thank you for putting this together. It looks fabulous, guys. Again, it was mentioned that I used to work for social services. Oh my God, that was back in the day. I was sitting there when we were talking about name changes. When that first came up, I was like, man, this place has gone through a lot. And as I was thinking about that way back, it just tells you how old I am. It actually started with social services in 1990, I believe, or even 89. And I had just worked up the ladder. Prior to coming on social services, I think we were originally, bi-state, I think at one time. And then the Division of Social Welfare. And then the Division of Social Services. And now the new one, I'll let Mr. Cody name it later, but I think we've gone through a lot. And I was just thinking, I was sitting there with my sister Renee, it's like, oh my God, as people were reflecting on what we've gone through. It's like we're a small program, a very important program within the Navajo Nation where we work with children and families. But now, as we've grown, of course, your caseload had grown, our constituents list had grown, problems had grown, issues. So this, there's so much out there that you all do. All your 7 programs and departments, awesome. Give yourself a hand, guys. Jesus, it's good that, when I came back, I was telling you when I first started, it's like everybody was young. I didn't know anybody. Only ones I remember is like Brenda. Where's Brenda? Deanna. Thomas, Mr. Cody, who else? Miss Tooley there, Karen. And, but, we had some wonderful people. I have an undergrad in social work, and when I came back to Navajo, I took a little break, worked for members of Congress, New Mexico, Arizona. I moved to DC for President Nez, coming back. And it's really, I could say I was fortunate to come back and get a job with this administration. But somewhere along the way, I knew I had a calling again as far as just working for Congress, working for members of Congress, the work. Although when you're in this position as a field rep, you work on all issues, not children and families, everyone. uranium issues, environmental issues, veterans, all of that. And so when I got back with Mr. Cody, bringing me on board about a year ago, you guys had a great team. When a new administration comes in, changes happen. But that was for the best. That was for the better. To really remind us who you are, your jobs, your goals, your objectives, your mission, your vision for this division. So this rebranding is like a new burst of energy to help you, motivate you, entice you to be a better worker. I've heard good words like collaborate. When we work in this field of work, there's the 4 C's I learned. Communication. It's important that we all communicate. Your 7 programs and your departments with your Office of Executive Director, your finance. We got to reach out, communicate, question. That's what we're here for. We got to collaborate. When you collaborate, you really share ideas. What's going on in treatment? How is ICWA helping? How are we working together? Share your ideas. I see that in your reports, reading your reports. You guys are doing awesome. And then coordinate. Work together. Volunteer your time. And it's for the best interests of our children and families we do this work. And one of the most important one too is cooperate. Respect each other. Engage with each other in a positive way. That's what I've learned working in my field of work, coming back to the nation. I want to share that with you. You guys are awesome. It's just, I'm going to come back. I want to finish with my career with the feds, and I do want to come back to social services. I think this is the best division within the nation. You guys are the most hard-working staff, and I'm with the leader. Keep him in line. You guys make this guy look good. Without you, he's no one, So give Thomas a big hand and give yourself a hand, and let's move forward and working together, guys. I just want to say that much. Thank you for letting me talk. Have a good day.
Thank you, Cal. He's always energizing when he speaks. And energizing in our monthly meetings, our Monday meetings, always has words of encouragement. So we miss you, Cal. So we have just an update on our live streaming. We have 57 watching right now. Mr. Gale did indicate we have someone out in Paris that's watching. So, Yate, we miss you out here on the Navajo Nation. And take some pictures while you're out in Paris, and we can share them with the division. So I want to bring up our fearless leader, Mr. Thomas Cody, the man of the hour.
Frida, and also the thank you very much. I really appreciate your attendance. I appreciate you being here. The staff, thank you for always being here, always supporting what we do, always chiming in. This tent didn't just come up because it just popped up. It took days of planning for the staff to do this, and the gorgeous blankets. It came from Merlinda, so thank you, Merlinda. So Shay Thomas Cody once has gone to I'm originally from Loop. Last evening I had to run home. We haul water, haul hay, and that's part of my continued cultural significant or attachment to the land. And that's me, that's Shalini, Shebeka, Shalini. My grandpa always told me, the Peppa Einen nit yotchat or leten he kayap a kaje. And that was really what the bet that it does for me, because it was passed on through generations. And it finally came to me, and Grandpa always said, take care of those sheep. It will tie you to the land. It will make you who you are. And I truly believe that it was really the case for a lot of us. Although we work, for me, I was in Denver, Colorado. I had my headquarters in Seattle, Washington. I could be on the 28th floor of Casey Family Programs office in Seattle, Washington, and I'll be texting somebody back home, how are the sheep? So yeah, Shikei and friends that are here and listening, there's about 273 people that are listening. And one of the things we really wanted to do was make sure that our staff were part of this whole process. Anything that we do with social services, and the managers will tell you, our staff have to be part of it. We have 600 and a little bit over 600 FTE, but we currently have about 413 employees, and that's who we work with across the Navajo Nation. So one of the things we also did was thank you to the previous administration, Deanna Neswick-Gishi, and then others that were here. They laid a foundation where our technology is robust. Every single employee of the Division of Social Services has a laptop, and they're connected to the internet. And thank you to Eagleson for making that connection. They did a thorough assessment. They did a thorough assessment of the whole Navajo Nation social service system. And they said, this is the plan that you need to follow. And that's the plan that we're following. And we expect to follow that for the next 3, 4, 10 years. So thank you, Eagleson and Chris Wright, for being one of the leaders and moving our nation forward. And the other one is Merlinda. Yeah. And if it wasn't for Merlinda, I wouldn't have known what social service is all about. So yeah, Merlinda, thank you. I was your Navajo Nation Technical Advisor, TA, with Casey Family Programs. And I also like to give a shout out to Casey Family Program staff that are listening or watching. You're the individuals that brought me here. I learned a lot after I left Navajo, and part of it was what we're doing here. It was basically going back to the local communities, empowering elderly voices, giving voices to those individuals that were not given voices, and I think our staff does a great job with that. So I'm honored to stand here before you to announce that we have a new name. We will no longer be the Navajo Division of Social Services. Our new name will be the Navajo Division for Children and Family Services. I also have such a great staff that tell me when to pause. Also, they tell me when to say for. They put it in bold. I guess I was saying F, so but put it in bold, so for. The name change is not merely a shift. It's a profound commitment to the heart of our mission, which is the well-being of our children. Division of Social Service you're our heart. The translation is simple: future thinking for our children. When we came to the division, Marlinda and I, or when I came to the division, one of the things that I asked her was, Isha, and then we looked at President's vision, Yides and Sahakis. All we added was Ncha'alchinapa. And so that's one of the big change that we made when we first came in. And our focus is more sharper with our new name. It said our social service, Eric, and the need. I also facilitated your children's code revision about 20 years ago when it was the Navajo Nation Children's Code, and we changed it to Eshchinebe Hazani. Also, council told me you need to do public hearings. Through the Navajo Nation Children's Code, you took our ability to discipline our children. And my response was, and it's true today that the families, the parents out there, you still have the ability to discipline your children. That's your responsibility. President in the Neban. It's the Navajo people that can make this change to where our devastating increase of domestic violence, our murder rates, our child abuse, and that's where we have our Navajo, Preserving Navajo Family Initiative is giving that authority back to the churches across Navajo Nation, to the Native American churches across the Navajo Nation, to the Hatralis across the Navajo Nation. President. So I challenge all of you here to take that charge seriously, that we need to make that change now. It starts with the little children that we currently have in our child care center that Ms. Diana Gishi oversees. She's putting culture and language back into those facilities. It's also Eric's responsibility as he's working with these children to make sure their commitment is there, the social workers' commitments are there to make sure the children are okay. And it's also Crescentia, Indian Child Welfare Act's responsibility to make sure that our language and our culture remains intact with children that are located across the 28 states in the United States of America. And it's also Frida's responsibility to make sure that our elders that are receiving services are committed to the children. So when we're going through this whole system change of creating a system that for children and families, it's all our responsibilities. We need to ensure the health and safety and the welfare of our Navajo child family. We need to ensure that we're all working towards the same goal. I think for the division, all 413 staff members know that the goal is focusing on children and families. That's their charge every single morning as they come to work, is our focuses on children and families. This one, great timing, Chief. This wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the support of our leaders. President Dr. Nygren, Vice President Montoya, members of the Health and Social Education, Health, Education, Human Services Committee, and the Navajo Nation Council. I truly made, since I was a delegate before, I truly made it an effort that I would work closely with our Oversight Committee and the Navajo Nation Council. And I think that's a reflection when we zip through our 477 legislation. 8 o'clock, we got the oversight approval. 10 o'clock, we got Nabik Committee approval. At 2 o'clock, we got the Navajo Nation Council approval. So in one day, we had a 477 legislation approved. And to me, that's how I tell our program managers, you need to work with your leadership. You can't just walk out on them. But if they start asking you, and to the Navajo Nation Council, if they start asking you questions that I think is out of the realm, I will step in. And the other piece is the backbone of our division, the department managers, the staff that are listening online across the Navajo Nation. Remember, I was telling you the staff have a little pause, wait for applause. So when I pause, applause. Last but not least, our chief of staff, our deputy chief of staff, can you stand up? And then also the office of the president, vice president, the staff, the legal counsel, Candace, Chris Beecher, they guide me every single day. And then Char's way back there. Thank you, Char. They're the ones I go to. When I'm cornered or when something goes on, I always run to these 2, 3 individuals and the staff at the president's office. So they're part of this whole process. I cannot leave them out because, nor can I leave the legislative, our legislative lawmakers out, because they're all part of our team to ensure that we start our community healing. And that's my push, even on our budget floor, or on any meetings I go to. We need to start this community healing. It's for our children. It's our families out there. President and those kids that are struggling with an alcoholic parent. We're not exempt from it. I'm not exempt from it. I have to face alcoholism at home, my relatives. We're not all exempt from it. So, President, the staff, thank you for always being there for me. Our division is a blend of beautiful departments and programs. It also reaches out to really supporting our people. It's a division-wide unity. We're bringing together strength, expertise of each department to create a seamless support network. When an individual comes, when a child comes in seeking services, there should be one call, and the children go through, or the families go through this one system. So within our division, we're breaking down the silos. We're making sure that our resources are just for one program, one department. Our united approach enables us to provide that comprehensive service to address our social ills across Navajo. With this reorganization, our program directors, our divisions will collaborate to form a robust safety net for our children. By breaking down the silos, we foster an environment where information flows freely. Just like the data summit, the Navajo Nation, we need to start sharing our data. We also need to coordinate our resources to strategically utilize those dollars. I came to a division that had $800 million. $800 million. The mil sahonas nilo Our relatives are suffering while we're sitting on $800 million. And with the program directors, we made it a goal that we would spend this money. So as of today, we have a little less than $400 million in our bank. So thank you, staff, for doing that. This change reflects our deep respect for our Navajo culture and values and culture. Where I attend a lot of church revivals, because they're the individuals that need to work with our children and families across Navajo. I also attend the Native American church meetings. We meet with them, we talk with them. Let me back up a little. So we're doing a weekend of prayer and worship, which will be sponsored by the Office of the President and Division of Social Services. Right across, when you step out of the President's office, we're going to put up this tent, and it'll be a worship of praying for our children and family. A weekend of community healing. Although Eric is working with the Native American churches to doing the same thing. Teepees and so Brent is his counterpart that they're working with is putting those prayers together for our families. Anthony is working with the Hatkasis across the Navajo Nation. So that's what we're working on. So our commitment to our culture, our language, is embedded. When you hear staff saying we're putting our language and our culture back into our programs. But it's a little hard sometimes when some people don't understand that when we put on these programs, it's part of healing. Why are you purchasing this sheep? Why are you purchasing this blanket? Why are you purchasing so much bottled water, food? To me, that's our culture. Catering. Why are you have so much money in catering? Because when we go out to the communities, when the public comes to our office, we should have at least a bottle of water to give them. So as we design our programs to where we empower our families, build resiliencies, preserve the rich culture, we're preserving the rich culture of the Navajo Nation. As we move forward, we are excited about the profound impact this reorganization will have. Like Eric was when he was small. Social services. Eric was afraid of it. So our name will be different. The impact that we will have on the nation, the children and families. I tell the program directors, my time here is limited. I'm 18 months in already. As President says, our re-election is not guaranteed, so make those bold moves. And we intend to make those bold moves for the next maybe 2 more terms. The Navajo Division for Children and Family Services is not just a name, it's a promise of unity, support, and a bright future for our Navajo children and families. And thank you, Navajo Nation leadership, for your continued trust, support as we embark on this new journey. The well-being of our community is the heart of everything we do. That's our commitment from social services, that we will help those children. We are working to create a network that's nurtured, where our communities are striving and our families live in a really bright future. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for everything that you all do for us. And again, Eagleson for making it possible for our staff to listen to us from across the Navajo Nation. The staff will also see when President signs the legislation to change the name. The staff will also see when Brent pulls the string and it drops and our new logo and our name comes up. So thank you for your commitment. Thank you for being here with us. Remember, every single morning, I don't care who you pray to, pray for our children and families. One other challenge I give people across my travel is, Facebook, call a relative that you have not spoken to. Phoenix, Albuquerque, Washington, D.C., call them so that they see. Let me sing a song for you. Let me say a prayer for you. So that's my challenge to everybody in this room, people that are watching, people that will be watching this YouTube. Thank you for your commitment to our children and families. And then let me bring up, I'm going to be the MC now. Let me bring up Chris, our Deputy Chief of Staff, or Patrick Hakko. These are the individuals that are creating a lot of the positive impact across Navajo. I tell Patrick, I tell my staff, all these negative stories that are out there, we need to show the positive side of what we're doing like today. And that's why the YouTube is on. That's why our press releases are coming out. Patrick, Chief.
Good morning, everybody. All right, we can do better than that. Good morning, everybody. All right. Well, it's a pretty grand day for all of you guys. By show of hands, how many are here from Social Services, the division? Good, good. The first thing is the message is from the president of the Navajo Nation. He's at Diné College right now and unable to get out of there, but he'll be back after a while. But his message, and he's well aware of everything that's going on because you guys have a leader at the division who meets and talks and associates with the president all the time. When the president was campaigning across Navajo, he heard about a lot of the social ills. And for those of you that don't know the president personally, he is probably one of the biggest candidates that should have been a part of the system. You know, an absent parent, alcoholism, drugs, domestic violence, all of that stuff was in his home. But he rose above all of that, and he chose and made choices that were in a whole different direction. And with that, he got a bachelor's degree, he got a master's degree, he got a doctorate degree. He's built his own home, he's created and started his family, and that's what he wants. And he hurts just like a lot of us do. And are there any social workers out there? Who are all the social workers? Raise your hands. I want to give you guys a lot of credit for what you guys do. And I know you have support staff that, you know, that you guys, they got to keep you guys going as well. But I don't know, there's not too many of us that can go out there and do a police officer's job or a social worker's job. You guys are the front lines, and you guys are the ones that see all what's going on out there. And there's a lot of bad stuff, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Your director talked about social ills. That's one of our biggest challenges on the Navajo Nation, is all the social ills. So again, thank you to all you social workers who are out there on the front lines making sure that you're taking care of people. One of the reasons that we have the disparities that we have with our social ills is because we really don't have an economy on Navajo Nation. We don't have jobs. We don't have housing. We don't have educational systems that help one another to stay supported. You might look back at me and say, we do have houses, we do have jobs, we do have schools, but we don't have the system that it takes to actually raise a community, raise a family, be healthy. But the other thing I want you to know is that the very same problems we have here, they're all across the country. It's just that they're less noticeable, or government may have more resources to help take care of the people. But imagine what it would be like if the Navajo Nation had good paying jobs, a lot of jobs. What if we had lots of housing available for everybody that needed housing? What if we had educational systems that really fostered from the time a child was in the community to preschool to early childhood development through elementary school, junior high, high school? Then they would really, really, really be ready for the rest of the world when it comes time. So just imagine that for a moment. And you guys at the new division that it's going to be called, you're a critical component. Please understand that. Please recognize that. And the changes that President Nygren has on the table, working through and talking with his division director, these are generational changes, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like we're going to fix it tomorrow or next week. These are generational things that we're going to have to deal with. I'd also like to recognize, not sure where she went, our Department of Health Director, Miss Sherilyn Yazi. She's right there. These two here working together have a really good understanding of what we've got to do to look at the services that they provide. Mr. Cody just talked about $800 million, but I thought it was $400 million now. Okay, it's $400 million. So we spent half of it. But between the two of them, they have economic engines within their own divisions that we've really got to start to hit upon. If you look at the Department of Health, how many people do we send off for treatment off the Navajo Nation? Almost everybody we send off. We send them to places where we invest a lot of money in making sure that they try to, our people try to make themselves better. But what happens is they just return right back to where they started from, where, what did I say? No jobs, no housing, no educational system. So what's the real expectation supposed to be? Division of, or the Social Services Division, we want to make sure that we're really thinking about, and the two of them are well aware of it, what do we do to help with this economic component? Not just job creation, but treatment for people. The Navajo Nation spends millions and millions of dollars treating the people that have seen shortcomings in their life and they need help. So we really want to say we've got to continue to move forward. We've got to work with our lawmakers, because in our system, there's a lot of things that need repair. And it starts with our lawmakers. We have so many outdated laws. We have so many things that are non-enforceable. And on the executive side, we have people responsible for enforcing things, and one may even be a social worker. But the social workers might be deciding, gosh, even if I did this, if I call law enforcement and we take this person to jail, they're going to be out in 8 hours again. They're not going to be there very long. And then eventually that culminates to them doing something more. And then, you know, a week later, a month later, we're faced with something, some sort of tragedy in that same circle. So we really encourage each and every one of you to look at the new direction that you're headed. And I personally want to commend Mr. Cody for his leadership. He seems to be really moving things along, moving dollars along. And it's not an easy job, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a... One thing about the Navajo Nation is you can come in and change leadership, you can come in and change directorships, but you generally have all of the same staff. So he's had the challenge, and Ms. Yazi's got the challenge as the deputy director, coming in there and leading these people that are already programmed, they're already doing their ways, they're set in their ways. We've really got to understand we want to take a good hard look at where do we want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, the next generation. What do we want to leave better for them so that we're able to have more production, have more people in school, have more homes for them available, have more jobs when they come home. We really want to focus on that. 477. I'm sure everybody in social services is familiar with 477 now, right? Is it new to you or no? Okay. How long has it been around, Mr. Curley? How long's 477 been around? I think about 15, 20 years. And it's not until Mr. Cody came back that he said, listen, we got to start making some of these transitions. We got to look at it differently. We got to bring the controller in. We got to bring OMB in. We got to start managing these things differently so that we're able to get our dollars out there quick. And something I want you guys to know is President Nygren is leading the charge with all the right people to make changes inside the system. And the one example I'm going to use today is, are you all familiar with workforce development? On the campaign trail, President Nygren heard over and over again from people who were in the workforce development system. They got signed up, they got ready to go, but in time, things just didn't move like they should. And sometimes it was because of the problems within the nation. We couldn't make payments on time for the apartment complex that the client was at. We couldn't get the food that they needed to get to. We couldn't pay the school that they were attending. And so, again, what's been identified in that particular program is you have 5 components. And the first one is like the Office of Management and Budget. They've got to set up accounts. Then you've got a program. And here's where I'm really coming from. I was out in Western last Thanksgiving when we came across a family who definitely needed some help from social services. And what I was surprised by was when the social workers showed up, they had no resources to help this family, which was simple as getting them some food, getting them some wood, and getting them ready for Thanksgiving, which was 2 days away. Unless it came out of their pocket, and guess what? It came out of both of our pockets to try to meet the needs. Social workers and other people within social programs should have the resources readily available to assist in those emergency needs. But it's the processes back home and within the administrative processes that really holds things up. Back to workforce development. Once a program concludes that this person is eligible and they're qualified, then it should go right to a payment process, not 3 other forms of verification by 3 other offices that say, yeah, there's enough money in your budget. Yeah, they do qualify. Oh, you know what? I don't think they do qualify. Let's get DOJ involved. Let's go get the granting agency involved. You know, all those processes end up taking weeks, if not months, when something should take less than a week. So those, again, are some of the processes that we're working on, and we want it to benefit social services as well. I know some of you administrative support staff, even trying to move some of the simplest things, it can be as easy as things one day, and the same situation the next day might be super hard trying to get things through. So President Nygren and the Office of the President, Vice President, work every day to try to continue to figure out how do we manage these systems. We also, again, know that we understand that we've got to work with the Oversight Committee as well when it comes to policy change and law changes. And as I indicated earlier, we've got to really put a big focus on how do we start to change some laws and to make things work and to make things move smoother. Yes, the law might deal with the criminal component of things, but we have administrative stuff that also needs to change. And then we take that 1 month long process and put it down to 3 days so that we're actually helping people. And as far as the name change, congratulations. I don't think that it's something you just decided on yesterday, right? It's my understanding that there was a process to it. He had people involved. Everybody was a part of it. And now the name is going to be what it's going to be. So it's really a good thing. And I think the new direction's a very positive thing. One of the things that Director Cody talked about was community healing. And I would really like to recognize Eric, Mr. Gale. Eric, I really want to thank you for all what you're doing to try to bring communities back together, families back together. Whether you guys realize it or not, are there any rodeo families here? Raise your hand if you're a rodeo family. Okay, not too many, but that community is really unique. They really try to make sure that they teach the little ones about every aspect of rodeo. Any livestock owners here? Okay? For the first time in over 30 years, the wool buying program has come back to the Navajo Nation. And it was an overwhelming presentation the other day. President Nygren sat down with the Biden administration, the USDA and the Biden administration said, let's do this. And how they enhanced it was that the Navajo Nation paid their amount and USDA added on top of that, I think like 50 cents a pound. So people were walking away with almost $1 a pound for the wool that they were getting purchased from them. And so that sort of collaboration and bringing communities together. And if you think about it, are there any sheep herders here? Any of you? Okay. One of the things that I learned is that when we used to herd sheep regularly, that meant the little ones had a responsibility. And while they were out there holding up that responsibility, there was that opportunity to talk to whoever the sheep herder was, grandma, grandpa, uncle, and dialogue with them and learn from them and understand from them and get teachings from them and sing with them and hear stories from them. But that's almost all gone now. And so we really got to understand that the wool buying market told us that there's still a lot of livestock out there. This thing was only supposed to go for 3 days. It ended up going 5 days. They tried to turn nobody away, and lines, people were getting in line at 3 a.m., and people would stay there until the line was cut off at around 2 or 3 p.m., but hundreds and hundreds of vehicles were going through there. Some people only would have one bag of wool. Some people had truckloads of wool, and they were excited about it. So again, back to Mr. Gale, thank you for what you do in trying to bring families and children back together, because again, we're a hurting society right now, and our social ills are pretty large. If we could really work together, and I ask each and every one of you that work in the health field or for the health department, and those of you that work for social services, please don't get discouraged. There's a lot of politics in our work. There's a lot of politics in our communities, a lot of politics in our lives, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we have a lot of people hurting. And I encourage that if you're an elected official, I encourage that on behalf of President Nygren, if you're somebody that can help make change, then join the fight and let's make change, because there's a lot of people hurting. And in all that we say, we've got to build communities. We've got to heal the communities. And it's my true belief, and at President Nygren and Vice President Montoya, that we have to build an economy. And any way that you guys can work it, you've got to help build that economy. $800 million would build a lot of economy. But if you think about it, most of those dollars are probably leaving the Navajo Nation in every form or fashion. So with that much said, President Nygren again would like to say thank you to each and every one of you. And the ribbon cutting or the signing ceremony may have to take place at the office a little later today, because they're still not on their way back yet. So we'll figure that out though. Okay? 12:30? Okay. Oh, okay, maybe 12:30. And real quickly, how many of you are grant writers here? How many of you are familiar with grant writing? Okay. I'd like to introduce a young lady. Her name is Theda McFerrin. She is here in conjunction with the Department of Energy. She's hired by the Department of Energy to come to Indian country. In this case, she's assigned specifically to Navajo to help with a lot of things under the grants umbrella. So if any of you are familiar with her, any of you are interested in some grants or some grant writing, I reach out to her. She's hanging out at the president's office for the rest of this week. Touch bases with her and see if there's something that you might want to put on the table, even though you have $800 million laying around. Let's go get 800 million more. Yes. She's here 1 week out of every month, and we're looking probably to put her at the president's office to make sure that she has a spot there. And so again, she's here under the Department of Energy, and that's pretty big, because the Department of Energy has made a commitment to President Nygren that we're going to provide you the technical assistance you need to do to help develop energy, which is a huge component of economic development and economic opportunity. So I've said enough. Thank you to everybody that's here. Thank you to Mr. Cody, Ms. Yazi. Thank you to your staff. And On behalf of President Nygren, Vice President Montoya, you guys keep your heads up and keep them high and don't give up, because there's a lot of people that need you out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief of Staff Sandoval. So I shared a lot of information there with all of you. So thank you, Chief of Staff, for coming up and your leadership for the Nygren-Montoya administration. I would like to welcome to the stage Mr. Chris Beecher, the Deputy Chief of Staff.
Thank you. Yat shik dana asa hasilko she Chris Beecher yinisha she ki ani nishle chobet that dana bashish chin tkhorchi ne dash che aro sintle saadet ini dana dash nale tonansnes dissident na sha akot ego dana nishle. I want to say thank you to this young man right here. Not a lot of people know this. I actually interviewed him for the position, and I had talked to him, and we talked at length. And I think, Cal over there, he also was in some of those interviews as well. And when you're looking for somebody to lead an organization, there's certain qualities that stick out. But one of them is that act of serving the community. And you need somebody like that to help run this division. And it's super important to find those quality skills, and I believe that Mr. Cody here has all those skills, and I'm very happy. Let's give him a round of applause again. I really can't give him enough, but he's in it for the right reasons, right? You know, we go out there, and many of us had jobs outside the Navajo Nation, and we've come back home to help work from the betterment of our community. And this division specifically, it's the core principle, and with all of you out there in this division that you can, they're here in person, that are there out watching on the internet. Thank you from the President's office on all this great work that you continue to do, and we see it. I know it's tough to go out to the community and acknowledge every single person, but I know from our office, from the President's own words, from my heart, we acknowledge what you do every single day. And we're thankful that you help make the community better. My wife is also a social worker. She has a master's in social work and does behavioral health counseling and works with many types of people. But she's worked on reservations as well, and she's come back and shared those stories with me of those tough days. And I know that you have those tough days. But just know that we are here supporting you, thinking about you, praying for you, to make sure that you know that you have all the things you need in your heart to get through the day. I also want to acknowledge Eric Gale. I mean, I really appreciate all the work he's done in the community. Not just now. For many years, I've known Eric and all the work he's done. All the education, all the teaching that he's done to help educate other social workers. Because it's a difficult job, and all of us. And I know that social services and the new division for Children and Family Services. I want to make sure I get it right. It's tough to say. It doesn't roll off the tongue like social services. But the fact is, we're training our own people to help solve our own issues. And we're integrating traditional belief systems. We're integrating the newest concepts on how to help people. And that's unlike anywhere else. I mean, I really think when you look at the Navajo Nation, we're taking our core concepts of our cultural principles, and we're putting them together with best practices from the Western society, and we're making it our own. And we've done that many times over. And so I really appreciate all the knowledge you bring back to this organization, back to our communities. And I just want to say thank you so much for all that hard work that you do. And I want to give a special shout out to my sister Dee Dee, who's watching from Missouri. She says, "They said your name, I heard them." She didn't know I was going to get up and say hi. So hi, Dee Dee. That's good to see you in Missouri. But I just want to say thank you again. All of your hard work, everybody in this division helps make the community better. And we at the President's office and the President himself, the Vice President, we all acknowledge that huge amount of work that you do and all the gratitude that we have for it. So thank you so much. Thank you for letting me have a couple words there, Mr. Cody. And thank you to all your faculty and your staff here. and especially out there that couldn't be here today that are online. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Deputy Chief of Staff for the Office of the President and Vice President. So we've been sitting for a while, guys, right? It's nice and windy, at least it's not hot. So let's get up and kind of stretch a little bit. Stand up, put your arms in the air, do some trunk twisters. All right. When Chief of Staff was talking about the wool program, what popped into my head is the times when we sheared sheep at Nolly's house or Grandma's house, and then you put up that big gunny sack, right? And you put the little kids inside the gunny sack to jump on it, to compact it, right? So that is something that I thought about. Kind of made me laugh when we were talking about the wool program. So good memories when you tie a lot of the initiatives that are being done on Navajo back to your culture. There's a lot of memories that come up, positive memories. And that's what the division is trying to aim for and be a participant in. So we can go ahead and settle back in, have a seat. I have Miss Sherilyn Yazzie from the Department of Health to share some words too as well.
Okay, Miss Frida. Yat she ya Sherilyn Yazzie and she has on shlo kia ani bashchin has so da chanela has she da che equit odds in the sun and this is my big much older brother. Older brother. Thank you. On behalf of Navajo Department of Health, congratulations to our sister program, to your team, to your leadership, to each and every one of you Navajo Nation employees that work for the Navajo Nation Division of Social Services. Congratulations. Each and every one of you that are working out there at the agencies who are direct services to our Navajo people. Thank you to the social workers, to the case workers, to the office specialists, every one of you out there. You are the key to make this Navajo Nation government work. And at this time, on behalf of Navajo Department of Health, we are eager to work for and with the Division of Social Services. Joining hands together and embracing the charge for our Navajo people, we can make huge and tremendous strides. It is the belief of the Navajo Department of Health that we believe that Navajos healing Navajos. Thank you to our elders. They had that foresight, and it's because of them we are here and we exist. So we in that moment and in that thought, we must honor them. And just hearing the change that my brother has brought to this division is a fresh of breath air, a joy to my heart, tears to my soul. We are no longer allowing the federal government to name our programs. Our people, we have a lot of smart people here, not just with the Division of Social Services, with NDOH and all the other divisions on the Navajo Nation, a lot of good minds. The minds that made this change here, that's ownership. That is so beautiful. Brother, that is an amazing change that you and your team made today. It is so powerful. Now, the Navajo people, we own it. That's ours. And then earlier, Chief of Staff said, our president said, give it back to the people. And that is true. It is not our job to help our people out there to raise their kids. It is us mothers, us fathers, us young women, young men. It's your responsibility at home to take care of your child. It's not the schools and the teachers' responsibilities. Ashjan. On hin khasala, education begins at home. With mom, with dad, masane, che, nali, bije. Education begins at home. Here at the nation, we will help. We are working to empower. We are working to invest. And Navajo Department of Health is standing strong with our staff that is here, and we are ready to join forces with you, brother, in your journey moving forward along with the administration, with President. Let the healing begin of our Navajo people. Let the healing of our children begin. The fathers, the mothers. No more shame-based system. No more being ashamed to say that we have problems at home. They exist. Let that healing begin. And so with that, brother, Chief of Staff, OPVP, those of you on the World Wide Web who are public servants, work in public services, work longer hours than anticipated, thank you for the work you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, brother, and thank you, each and every one of you.
So one of our commitment, and we talked, and with Marlinda being my previous deputy, is how do we put our families together? We have a treatment center, we have a behavioral health system on this side. So our commitment to the Navajo Nation is through the Department of Health, the Division of Social Services, is we'll create that linkage. We complement one another. Hajo n'cha'ati l'nil sh'dejipil. Hajo di it's ne na jons. E hajo n'cha'ati l'nil. Hajo e hajo eschisndel nishtolel. Nihi office kunza de it's antnas nil. But we always say, go to that side, go to this side. So our commitment to you is that those offices will also work together as one division without a silo. And that's what 477 will do for the Navajo Nation. We're creating a system that where we have a central intake system. Grandma can call Adoe home site li shikado the was legitin nas ko naha nahadil ne. As chinab should talk care that easy get nash ish shaba hayado le lahota tahot sojani childcare center naznil. Kojiti sha away should nulle oh yes it's do kut el de ya. Lay Anthony bitchon. So there's a night or least. I don't die. Could you best be the chain take case? Gonna pastors budget collected net on linear across the whole Navajo Nation. We're collecting a data system for them thanks to Eagleson. We'll have that system to where whoever takes that first call can say, they page that chi that na sha. They no. Native American Church and Satosha ato big end ato Chicago ja hala dobenish ada. Had is shadow lily la holno ado shak end or lily ade anlechin lead sata. So a lot of the system that we create anas nil. So one of the things that we would really like to do is bring down those barriers to where our division works together as one division. And that's for the Navajo people. The other thing that we're working on is it's not a yolta. We need to ensure, I tell my program director, Steja, we need to ensure that the changes that we put in place will continue 8-10 years from now. We need to put policies in place. So I reached out to the Oversight Committee and members of the Navajo Nation Council that it can't just be this administration anymore. It has to be So with that, Shadeja, thank you for coming up and your commitment to working with us. Be careful going down the stairs. And let me turn this back over to Frida, and we have another individual that will come up that has really helped me. Most of you probably know that we advertised for a deputy director. We interviewed. So today at 1 o'clock, my staff meet the 2 top potential deputy directors. I didn't want to be the only one with the individuals that interviewed. We didn't want to be the only one that selects or interviews those individuals. So I have my staff that will do a meet and greet. One at 1 p.m., another at 2 p.m., then at 3 p.m. we meet with the staff, and then at 4 p.m. we should be able to announce who our next deputy director for division for children and family service will be. So yeah, Frida, let me turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Director Cody. Thank you, Director Cody. So the announcement was made. The president is on his way. And just to provide an update, we have about 350 people listening in. And then we have 45 people on our YouTube live stream. So thank you to those individuals that are joining us virtually and attending our event today. So to continue on with our agenda, in lieu of the president on his way, I want to welcome up to the stage Miss Mary Deschitney Reyna. She could make her way up. She's served as a vital component of the division, putting together and working with 477, assisting us in our offices in Phoenix, and currently right now serving as our interim Deputy Division Director. Mary?
Thank you, Frida. Good morning, everybody. Shea Mary Deschitney Reyna Yenishia. Tina Bethlehem Nishla. My Dishkijni Bushichin. Twittich Eden Deshiche. Lot of beautiful words today shared and expressed. I, along with everyone else today, first want to tell all of you thank you so much. Our staff across the Navajo Nation for everything that you do for our people. We're hearing good things, but we're also hearing the challenging things that our people face. And I again, really want to give credit to our managers. Our managers they come with great skill sets, big hearts, very dedicated. They funnel that down to their staff who put everything to action. And all of that comes from our leader here, Director Cody. Every day, and everyone's heard it so far today, this is what we hear every day in our office, in the executive office, is that we got to do this for our Navajo children and families. We've heard that so many times today. The other thing we've heard again this morning is healing our communities, healing our Navajo people, our nation, all of that. That's going to be coming to fruition with everything that we're doing in our campaign going forward on how it is that we're going to do this for our people. It's going to be a beautiful thing. And we wouldn't be able to do that without our staff. And we challenge everyone to partake in the name, live up to it, and let's make great things happen together and keep it going. Thank you for our leadership who support us, our council, other directors, and our OPVP office, Thank you for everything that's provided here. And again, to thank you, Director Cody, for everything. Hello to my family in Chinle. Yeah.
So we'll turn it over to Director Cody once again.
So yeah, so one of the things that I really want to also stress is while we're moving forward, the division directors that the Navajo Nation has, they really help us. Like Mr. Arben Mitchell, the one that sits right across from my office in the same building, he really helped us because when we reached out to Eagleson, I said, run me the numbers, last year's numbers for LAHEAP. One chapter only got 2 individuals that were helped within that chapter. One chapter almost had 400 people helped within their chapter. So to ensure that that doesn't happen again, we asked Arben Mitchell, with chapters in the Yasanil. The chapters know who really needs help. We also reached out to the council delegates. This is what we're going to do because one chapter cannot take 400 people, while another only had 1 or 2. So we changed that whole system. So Arben, thank you for helping us, making sure that the resources are equally distributed across Navajo. So if you see Arben, thank him. I appreciate his work with us. The other individual, we're always looking for land, We're looking for land across Navajo. In Tuba City, we're looking for a piece of property to build a domestic violence shelter. So the individual that just sat down, Mike Halona, thank you for working with us to securing land. Mike also is getting us, is also working to acquire our building in Phoenix. We're going to establish, a president is going to establish, along with the other division directors, establish an office in Phoenix for our urban relatives. So, they don't need to come up here to Window Rock for their census numbers. They don't need to come up here for their home site leases. Phoenix. The other one he's working on is in Utah, or Albuquerque. Just we'll have an office there. The other one that we're really working on, and we're working hard, and to my Salt Lake relatives, we're still working on what President committed to, and we'll continue to working on that. The other one is our school clothing program. There's a lot of things that are said through social media about our school clothing program. Let me tell you the truth today. The money that's appropriated by council says we'll give $200 to children across the Navajo Nation. And it's any child that lives, that's Navajo. Last year, we sent a check to Germany. So any child, any family that applies for those resources, they can get $200. And the system is not flawed. Sometimes it takes a while to get these checks to you. Those are online or sitting here. We're working on making sure that our checks will be cut. You apply, and with Chris Wright from Eagleson, we're also developing a system to where when you apply, you will be able to track your application through our process. So we have a program in our office now that will work on making sure that happens. You don't call the president's office. You don't go to your council delegates. All you need to do is you check it, or you have your little grandkids check it for you. And you can check, let's check against it. It can be done online. The other director is Miss Bobby Baldwin, Veterans Administration. Salah Soda no Seniki to say I went to the Navy. Yay, Navy. But Salah Soda no Seni, those of you are watching, your relatives, we're also creating a system for them, an electronic system to where they can also track how much money they get, how much checks are brought out, are sent out. Bobby Baldwin, that's one thing that we're working on. Where we're moving forward, a lot of the work that we're doing as a group, it's really to benefit children and families. One of the questions that I got was, how do you justify the money that you're spending on a lot of these big events across Navajo, or giving money to the Hatkatlis, giving money to the Native American churches, giving money to the churches? How do you justify it? So what we did was, through the help of Eric and the program directors, we went back to our funding source. Can we do this? And it was a yes. So we can provide a lot of the services for you. And those people out there, it's their peso. It's not our money here in the Window Rock. It's the people that are out there. So that's another thing that we're working on for you. The water rights in need. We had a big old water rights settlement that was signed. Now it's in Washington, D.C. We can get a lot of money. Our water rights need is. Or when we're in Phoenix, we jump into those pools. So one of the things that Director Mike Halona is working on is also repairing your windmills across Navajo. So the reason why I know is I'm part of his team to repair those windmills. Nle Heart Rock, the Heart Rock chapter president, J.B. Gay, sent us a list of these are the windmills that need to be repaired in my area. So that's what we're doing for the Navajo people. And how does that connect to children and families? Their livestock. And some of us, I haul my water from the windmill or from the well into our cistern system that we currently use. I don't have the luxury of running water, although I'm an executive director for social services. I don't have the luxury of having a heated pool. In Denver, I did, but I left that nice, lush lifestyle to come back to help my Navajo people. So, and I think a lot of us division directors have done that. Is leaving where we were at. I didn't have some. My coffee shop was just below the first floor of my office, my building complex, and in my office we had a salad bar that cuts up your stuff on the first floor. So that's the luxury that we have when we live off Navajo. My nephew that lives in Tucson always says, "Uncle, why are you spending so much money on those sheep? How much do you get back?" I couldn't live there because there's no jobs. One of my coworkers in Denver, she was offered a director position with one of the administration. She couldn't take that position because of our school system. She said, I can't go back because what I have here in Denver is not what's out there on Navajo. So so a lot of the stuff that we're doing with Shadeja is how do we treat our family members that are in Phoenix? We need to buy, just like those, you best, but not actually need us. And need you best on here that you lie, yeah. High dot and hotel and that you sneak. Other corner, Nick ain't this nil. Eben not a better are they a happiness day betray. Here what that deal need. We need to buy a facility in Phoenix and make sure that our people are provided that treatment and people are provided those services in Phoenix. So thank you for listening to me, and also I see brother Marvin Joe here. So that means the president is here.
Thank you, Director Cody. If we could take this opportunity to have everyone rise, please. The president of the great Navajo Nation is here, Dr. Boo Nygren.
So one of the things, Chris was telling you that interview Shadilia. His interviews are very hard. The other one that interviewed was Vice President Montoya. Cal Curley don't interview the Shila. So 3 times I interviewed Shadila before I got the job. So, Frida?
All right, let's try this again. Everyone's already standing. The president of the great Navajo Nation, Dr. Boo Van Renegren.
Good to see you. Yate. Hopefully I'm not between you and lunch. Thomas told you not to do that. Now you're going to have to serve mutton ribs. But I want to say thank you so much, Danopi. I think that what's exciting is about what today really means. I think Horohani by Haozi do Horoshin Jono had Aozi do di Joan told Nate open in that beta in Nishigi AI Yisibij told Nate no, but had this Anagi Head and Kedini do the Kushi Bendasol Nishigi Jo Allegis Ihoito. Die on journal at the Banashnet hot end and here we jibbity not nishigin hini nache we jenskin la hold on son Francis case ebe a had kedinely not end and the bazod lenigido hojo na saw thanigi mado jado chid 8 oshi kebe kehegi had le sin kitla. So I want to say good morning. Is it still morning or afternoon? Afternoon, okay. The Chini has an idiot scholarship, which I thought Yagi had a shahn. She be a hadole, Joe Eben Yedate inflo, which Halet Olan le nasty des con jono, not a knee catholic. Naniki, I don't need it, she did a touch sheet ninch. I don't know, was a bus's chain, dot hodich eat the shade or not was it a chanel, a hot or the nench, the double nash inigi, don't have chinlot na kit hadit ish. Like na di nena halon sebin des benache hot ende Thomas a head dini do asi yego shilin do shilat eto whoever is bingo 5:30 bakayila. So whoever's got bingo ticket 5:30, you're the winner. So and I think that's one of the things that we like to tease each other. We like to, because there's a lot of things and a lot of challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis that sometimes we got to make sure we keep things light, and that's what's gotten us this far, and that's why we're so resilient as a people. I always think about it, but we stuck together, and we continue to be here together. So I want to also do some acknowledgments. Honorable Delegate Jermaine Simonson, for being that sponsor, for being that champion, and also to co-sponsors, Delegate Andy Nez and Speaker Crystalline Curley. I know she was over at the Chief Manuelito event this morning with me as well. And also I want to extend all thank yous to all the staff at the new, this will be the last time I'm going to say it, okay? The staff at Division of Social Services. Thank you. So that's the last time I'm going to say it, so thank you so much. And also to Director Thomas Cody and everybody that works within your team. You're so dedicated, and I always think about you all day, every day. The nebelty not nisto kitchen the halneton kitchen the o canton kitchen chita of energy a hat the legend he yes the now which in the white none again get bad the husband he not ani than it lenigi a hot the hoden jono that the also cano de bishit lahan a hot end and he a mado a jado 10 years that him the neda child and kitchen the halnegi he had the legends no but they not nisto get nada holzilla she nasko nadi no catole. And also I know today is going to be a significant day. I know that Thomas's legislation division is legislation to really change the name because it just didn't fit where really the division of children and family services, this is in line with thinking for the future. No, and I'm glad that it got done. I want to say thank you so much. I know we can't give him enough hands. Let's give a hand for Mr. Cody over here. It's not because you're tall to reach your back, okay? Mr. Thomas Cody. And I know it didn't really fully represent the work that you guys do on a day-to-day basis and really the mission of your department and all the dedicated staff that you're really trying to make sure that and I think that's one of the things that you guys share with your families every day in order for us to overcome some of these tremendous challenges that our nation faces. It starts from the family. When our family units are strong, our nation is strong. And that's what you guys are working on every day. So give yourselves a round of applause for really preaching that. And then there's things that you work on that's really tough and it's significant. I know ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act, and really trying to make sure that it's implemented to the fullest because there's children out there that really want somewhere to call home, someone to call mom, someone to call dad, and that's what you guys work on every day. And you really try to focus on to be there for that individual child, whether it's a baby, whether it's a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old, that really just wants to say, you know what? That's what you guys work on every day. So again, many kudos. It's one of those heartwarming things that I think about the group that I'm talking to this morning, that you are champions. But when our families are strong and our communities are strong, we can take on challenges like alcoholism, domestic violence, and substance abuse, because a lot of those things stem from not having strong families, from people that really don't know where to call family. And that's where you guys come in, and that's where you guys get a lot of the phone calls to really help address some of those things. So again, thank you for addressing some of those things and addressing it with raison and compassion, because that's the only way to do it. No, she the nebagenda yos now ibe nasco die no eshige. And that's always been a priority of my administration, is to really overcome some of those challenges. And that's how a lot of our families out there and that's the only way to do it. is that Arabin Yahosad on the Hadgado, Arabin Yahot the Neba Ihobich Hasdo Zigi, Edo Nitha Shado Need, you know, that's what Shamasanado, Shamaya Hoshidini, Haishebits Adon the D Lehot Oyan, Arabin Yahada. To enian to kasa do edit o nasko de nei ishto lecha nenegi. And I think that stems from our teachings, and I know a lot of our people in the crowd that really have traditional and cultural teachings that really want to say thank you for really communicating that to our relatives as well. So again, as the new division of Children and Family Services, you stand ready every single day for our families and our children in need, because you're dedicated to something that's crucial and that's focused. And as I mentioned earlier, that's the family. When our families are strong, our nation's strong, and we can continue to move forward, because no matter how much money, I know that's one of my biggest priorities is economic development. And we've seen strong economic development in a lot of our smaller nations, right? They get per capita of 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. They have problems with alcoholism, domestic violence. So that means that no matter the amount of money, that's not going to fix our problems. But what you guys work on a day-to-day basis is building strong families that are going to continue to support one another, be there for one another. And that's how we're going to continue to move our people. So thank you guys for working on that every day. So the name change, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to reflect to our communities, and they're going to know, as mentioned earlier, not too long ago, I was a chamai, right? And not too long ago, your social services, but you hear that name, don't Lego, net end hands on the nebula is John and Handi, you know, that's that stigma that's with social services. And I know that I had one of those scenarios when I was working at NECA. We were visiting homes, and I was assessing bathroom additions. And these children way out in Delcon and way in the back, those kids were scared of me. They thought I was social services. Are you going to take me from my che and my grandma? And I think that name is going to change their personality, their perspectives on what Division of Family and Children's Services is all about. It's about helping them. It's about strengthening them so that they can have a future that we can all enjoy, because when they're strong, we're strong, and we can continue to move forward as one unit. So again, that's what's exciting about the name change, is that every person should feel like there's a place or a person that they can talk to and turn to. And that's what I'm really excited. So in conclusion, I just want to say thank you to Director Cody, the entire team of Division of Children and Family Services, your dedication, your hard work on behalf of all our families and on behalf of the Navajo Nation. You guys are the ones that are trying to change our nation one family at a time, because that's something that will last forever, and it can be passed on to generations to generations. So with your leadership within your communities to promote social well-beings that you can all be proud of, thank you to everyone involved for caring for our people, protecting our Dene people. Eshibe jono nasko nane katolik kikinada hajutlo so does nada di yino be nasko kedene be you katolik. So with that, I just want to say thank you, and God bless the great Navajo Nation, and have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I look forward to signing this piece of legislation. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. President, also, while the document is coming up, but we also have the cameras that need to come up or come on this side. There's only 4 people that can be up here, so part of the reason why we have everybody online also is the staff that are online. They have cake, drinks at their offices across Navajo, and they also have, like in Crown Point, in the tent that we have up there, Mr. President, our staff are watching. They're going to be watching your signing of the document, so that's part of the reason why we have the camera crew here to also. So Shanta?
All right, Biga. So I always tease everybody, come on up here. There's 4 or 5 of you. I think we can fit a little bit more. I don't know, you're on. I'm just, Thomas, you're good. You're a good man. I really appreciate the work that you do. So come on up if you feel like you can be able to make your way up the stage. Come on up here. So, well, directors, managers, field staff, let's test this stage. So come on up. So one of the things I want to do is I want to read. Come on up here. So I'm going to read the practice letter, which is to the 25th Navajo Nation Council. I'm happy to sign this resolution into law. The Division of Children and Family Services has been working off a strategic plan for some time. This strategic plan was built upon the division's strengths rather than focusing on its problems, making it a positive collaboration approach. In collaboration with division staff, many stakeholders, the division determined that a name change was necessary to help the people understand the purpose of the division. The purpose is to help the children and the youth benefit families, not just social services. The name change also debuts the division's efforts to become a PL 102-477 organization. And I'm proud of the work of the Division of Social Children and Family Services and support their efforts to assist the Navajo people. Sincerely, Navajo Nation President Dr. Boo Nygren. This is the first one. This is for practice. Come on in. Come on up. Come on up. All right. Just be careful. Don't walk off the back. Let it into you. They didn't have a rail in the back. Okay. Oh, there's the logo too. Hold on. Navajo Division of Children and Family Services. I love it. Okay. All right. Get closer. Get close to me. Please. Okay. I might smell like a cheat though. Be careful. Man, I want to say thank you. I was at that. Thank you for volunteering when we collected over 150,000 pounds of wool too. I remember when I got back into the unit, I could smell it for 2 days. So be careful, okay? All right, here's the first one for practice.